The answer is right here with Doreen and Grace.
But do we really have the right answer?
Maybe or maybe not, but we try to make sense of what's happening
Around us. Welcome to another new season
Yes.
of The Answer is Right Here with Doreen and Grace. And
My name is Doreen Okisai, a research expert, and
I'm Grace Nyambura, a public policy expert.
yes, so we are happy to have you back for season 2. And in this season, we are just going to talk about the state of women in leadership in Kenya.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
How have you been?
I've been good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been like a month. I've
Like
been
a
having
month,
a lot of things to do, but most of them just research, trying to have experience and expertise on research and this development field. But I can tell you it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with history.
Okay.
Guide us.
So we'll look at the past first, we look at the present, and also the future, what holds for the future. But as you know, the answer is right here. So we might not have the answer, but we try to make sense of what's happening everywhere. So my co-host Grace will start with the global perspective of what has been happening in terms of leadership of women.
Well, in terms of leadership of women, the UN Women Report 2026 says that currently women occupy 27.5% of parliamentary seats worldwide. This is up from 11% just from 1995.
Yes.
So it's been 3 decades, and only 27% of women still are the ones occupying these seats. So anyway, maybe we can look at all regions. The Latin America and the Caribbean, they lead the women's in parliamentary representations, with them holding 37% of legislative seats. And then we have Europe and North America, who follow at 33%. And then now we have the Sub-Sahara, which is where we are. We are at 27% representation.
Okay, and back to our Kenya. First, I think I'll ask you a question, like when we talk about leadership of women, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind when we talk about leadership? In politics, to be specific.
Yes.
Struggle.
Struggle, what else?
But also hope.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So talking of hope, I'd start with the history of where Kenya started from since independence or even pre-independence, and looking at just from maybe 1963, the number of women that we've been having in parliamentary up to now, it's a progress, because we started from zero. Parliamentarians are elected as women in
the first
1963,
parliament. I still have that mental picture of the first parliament.
Yes.
Oh, guys.
Yes. Man. Then we came to the second, at least one was elected, one was nominated, up to around the 2008, 2012.
Yeah.
That was the 10th parliament, I think, where around 16 women were elected in parliament, and also six nominated in parliament. That was a good progress, looking at the 10th. And we can also look at examples of the few women that made this happen. The likes of Kina Julia Jambo, Martha Karua, Professor Wangari. Yes. Talking of that, we went to 2013, and that is where devolution existed. So before that, there are some few things that were introduced, including the policies, legal frameworks, that I think you should tell us something about that.
Okay, to bring in the policy that has been policies that have been made ever since, we have the 2010 Constitution, which was our biggest turning point. So first, we have Article 27 of the Constitution, which focuses on equality and freedom of discriminations. It requires the state to take legislative and other measures that include affirmative actions and ensuring that 2/3 of the members of the elective positions are women.
Mhm.
And then we also have Article 81B. This one is on electoral principles. It provides that Kenya electoral system should comply with the principle that no more than 2/3 of the members of the elective public bodies shall be of the same gender.
Okay.
Not only in leadership positions, that is elected, the MP, the women rep, but also in other bodies like the ORPP.
Yes.
Yes, they're supposed to also be to that. Get to their gender principles. And then definitely we have the affirmative action seats, which created the 47 women representative. Yes.
Okay, so apart from that, we're also looking at globally just pushing for the women agenda, the affirmative action thing, and just from starting from the sustainable development goals
The
to
SGD 5.
yes, to different conventions that have been happening around us just to push for the women inclusion agenda in political seats.
We have the African Union, the Maputo Protocol,
yes,
that was enacted. It requires states to promote women political participation and representation. And then we have the Beijing Platform for Action in 1995.
yes,
Calls for equal participation of women too. And then the last one is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. These are just international commitments that Kenya has on matters policy when it comes to women in leadership.
yes, yes. And also not to forget our own continent, the African Union Agenda 2063 still pushes for women in these positions, women to take up their spaces and just inclusion of women. Yes. And also, you mentioned the sustainable development, the SDG 5.
The SDG 5, yes.
Yeah, just a whole strategy that have been brought in place to ensure inclusion of women, violence against women,
yes,
among other issues, just to make this a success. Yes, talking of that, we move to what is our current situation? What are we looking at today in terms of women in political position? We can compare it from, because we go to 2012, that was pre-devolution period. So we are looking at after devolution. That is when so many women came in place to just take up leadership position, be in the decision-making table. Yes, so since 2013, 2017, and 2022, what has been happening in terms of leadership, women in leadership state? Yes.
So we can see a significant increase. At least I'd say the devolution has brought about women leaders being able to be accepted by the society, or rather by the Kenyan people, that they can lead. Although there's a lot of issues that have been happening. Maybe we can talk of the problems.
Yes, and before that, I've been looking at different maybe to talk of evidence. I've been looking at different papers, different institutions, just trying to go through and see what has been happening in terms of women leadership. For instance, the UN Women, the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, Oslo Center, and we could look at different statistics, maybe from UN Women that I was just looking at. For instance, they were comparing the progress in the representation of elected women in these seats, and you could see in terms of a governorship, we had 0% representation in 2013. When it came to 2017, it was at least an increment up to 6%. And later in 2022, we could see 15% of women in these positions. In 2013, as deputy governor, at least it was high, 16%. It remained at 16% in 2017. Later in 2022, a little bit of drop to 17%. Senator, we could also see, so at least 2013, we could see there was very minimal number of women taking leadership position. But as we progressed, we could see like a lot of women taking this position. And this could also be seen in the MP position and also MCA in terms of MP, 10% were taking these spaces in 2022. And in terms of MCA, I think 8% of women were in these positions in 2022. So at least that's a progress when you look at it.
Yeah.
Yes. So from 2013, 2017 to 2022, we could see that there is a progress. But then we also need to look at it this way. What is the current challenge facing different counties on also in general women? Because we could see as much as we are progressing, women have the highest number of population in Kenya. More than 50% of women, I think, but then we are not achieving the two-third gender role. We are not achieving these policies that have been put in place. So what could be the problem facing women so that they cannot go to like take up these positions in leadership?
Yeah, maybe we should actually have what would you call it? A reference point, which is Rwanda. Rwanda has I'd say it's a good success story on women in leadership occupying parliamentary seats. Rwanda has 64% of women occupying seats.
Okay.
And that is in Africa. So what I'd say is it's very much possible. It's not something that is way out here that we can only imagine, that only maybe in the West that they can reach high percentages. But actually the most successful story when it comes to women in leadership is Africa, and it's Rwanda. So maybe we can reference on what have they been doing that we are not doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was also looking still the same on the UN women, because that is where I normally look at more of my data in terms of research. As much as we had at least a number of elected positions for women, there are still some specific counties that lag behind. You could see like there's a gap mostly in the northeastern part of Kenya. Counties like, let's say, Marsabit, counties like Kajiado, though not in the northeastern counties like Garissa. We could see like they still had a zero elected
members. That is 2022.
Yes, 2022. So we could see like that is actually a problem. Maybe we can refer to the patriarchal structures or patriarchal norm that still face that challenge still face the northeastern part of Kenya, where they believe like in those patriarchal norms where their gender roles and also men are there to lead and women follow. So women are not allowed in the decision-making table. So that is something that they have been dealing with for the longest time, but then it's yet to improve. I think that is one of the challenges facing one side of Kenya. But then as we look at women in general and why we are not, is it implementing these policies, or why we are just not in the two-third thing, or why are we not achieving the constitution?
It's in the implementation, because we have good laws, we have good policies, everything is set. Everything is literally set. This is what we should do, these are the numbers, these are everything. But on the implementation becomes a problem. Like the way you're saying the issues of the northern part of Kenya, which is more cultural.
Yes.
Than it is anything else. And maybe because I'm assuming if only like maybe 10, we had 10 from that part of Kenya being represented, we would have definitely closed the gender gap, right?
Yes.
So maybe my question is, this culture thing, is it likely to end? You know, actually the UN that you do your reference in says we'll achieve gender parity in 2063.
Okay.
That's what they say according to the UN report 2026 on women in leadership 2063. So some of these things are less, it's not about the policy, it's not about the laws that are there, but on the implementation. Are we supposed to change our whole culture and our whole thinking as a society that women can lead and women are actually good in leadership?
And I think talking of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like another challenge for women, they feel like they are most of the women, I'm not talking about all the women because at least women
Mm-hmm.
are trying to come up. But then when you compare with the population, then you are still much far behind. So I'm talking of a few women who think or who fear, there's that kind of fear of maybe intimidation or fear of now what happens when I get to that space.
Mm-hmm.
So many women still shy away because why would you be given policies? Why will you be given a lot of things for you to ensure like you get to that level? But then you're not taking up these spaces. It could also mean that they don't have the, can I call the bargaining power or the skills to just come to the table to say like, this has been given to me, let me take up this space as a woman. I feel like that is also a challenge that so many women are also going through. Yeah.
Not having a bargaining power.
Yeah, I'd call it a bargaining power, but
Mm-hmm.
also the fear of now what will happen, because you're also coming to that space to fight for your maybe rights,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to also take leadership positions, but then you also have the other gender in this same space. So so many women feel like, am I able to do this? Do I really?
There's a lot of second guessing when it comes to us.
Yes.
Well, it happens because even in our own small areas of leadership, you're also second guessing yourself. Should I? Am I capable enough? And all that. But, well, political and more so political leadership, I think it's when you think about it, it's really hard. It's really the thought of you leading a whole county or even a constituency or even just a ward, that it's you making the decisions and leading these people. Well, it can be very scary. But then again, my thinking is we can't keep on saying this, because these two, that gender rules, these policies, the UN, the international treaties, then they will remain just rumors or just nicely done things on paper.
Yes.
So, but
yes.
also, Doreen, I think there are women, because you can't tell me, especially in this space, the political space, there are very many women who are in this political space. What happens when they go to the ground?
What happens when they go to the ground? That is something, because I can also look at me as me and also women around me. I can't say what is happening to the ground because I don't.
Because you're saying about you've said bargaining power, you've
Yes.
said patriarchal structures. Hizi vitu ziko kwa ground. These are things happening on the ground. When you go maybe to your constituency where you come from, or rather where you want to vie, you are found with council of men, elders who are telling you, no, please just go back to your work, which is, I don't know, behind the door.
But then I'm also looking at it this way. Whether you do it or not do it, what is the harm? The harm, it's better you even do it and you maybe face the consequences, and like not doing it and you now feel that guilt of why did I not do it? Why did Gracie do it? And actually she actually succeeded as a
because there
woman.
are women who succeed,
Yes.
even in those patriarchal societies. So that brings me to my point. Is it upon us as women to just be like, you know what, we're just gonna do it, come what may, whether we die or we don't?
Yes, because it's something that you even, it comes from within. What is the essence of you not doing it? And if you do it and succeed, what will you lose? Or if we do it and fail?
Because there will always, my point is, there will always be patriarchal things, or rather issues. There will always be violence. Unfortunately, there will always be violence.
Yes.
Ukiingia kwa mtandao utatusiwa, there will always be that. But that doesn't mean that we are just going to sit back and let the other gender, not that however, again, it's just that right now we are talking about women in leadership.
Yes.
We're not just going to sit down and let them just take up spaces that actually the Constitution has provided for women specifically.
Yes, and you've mentioned something very critical, violence.
Yeah.
Yes, violence has been happening quite a lot, and that
Yeah.
is something that is also another problem
Major
that could
problem.
that could be affecting women in these political spaces.
Mm.
Talking of violence online and also offline.
Offline,
That is
yeah.
something that has been happening, and it is quite unfortunate when you find someone online. So we normally say like women are their own
Enemies.
enemies.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that? Yeah, me to some point I can say like when you find it, I am now talking of online, though it's still offline. When a woman comes out to say like I'm now going for this leadership position, then you find like other women criticizing or talking about it behind their back. Like, is she gonna do it? She's not even fit for that. Is she gonna lead us? Still online, you find like something has happened to a woman, and women are the ones commenting about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well,
many women
unfortunately, that happens, but I'd say that's just a natural reaction to every other human being, which is envious. We are just born to envious. Why are you not? Why am I not doing it? Why is she the one doing it and not me? Why does she have a lot of confidence and I don't have? I think that's just a bit personal because we can't be our own enemies at this point.
Now, do you think it makes sense? Like, why will you, unless you have a problem, like why will you want to talk something bad about someone?
That's what I'm saying. It's more personal.
Yeah, and it's quite unfortunate, like that personal thing is affecting so many women in these spaces that they don't want to take up those positions. They don't want to go into limelight, because you talk political leadership, you talk limelight, you talk everyone wants to see you there, everyone wants to see you being knowledgeable, trying to lead, having something like you can be able to come back and tell us this is what you did for us. And that is a fear that so many women still experience.
Yeah, the fear is real, especially on violence, and mostly right at this particular moment, the issue of goons. It's been so rampant in our Kenya right now that as a woman, you're just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of me going out here looking for votes and telling the voters, and then I'm being stoned, and then I'm being, this, especially this goon culture, it's scary. The thought of it is just scary. You don't want to be caught in the middle of that as a woman leader.
Yes, and also talking of goonism, I'd also introduce something else that still is a problem to women looking or taking up these leadership positions. That is lack of resources. And by this I mean financial
I think
resources.
That's the main point here.
Yes, financial resources.
Despite us having policies on campaign financing. Yes.
It's a problem that so many women face, including the amount of money that you're supposed to pay, maybe within political parties, to run for such seats. That is a problem for women. And also when you talk about goonism, this time we normally think, or in Kenyan politics, I don't know when we are going to move away from that, but issues of handouts.
The tokenism. And like what is happening right now in Olkalau.
Yes.
You definitely don't expect a woman to afford all that without actual heavy bigwigs backing up.
Yes.
That kind of money,
Yes. So you see, talking of bigwigs and talking of, that is, I think, patronage networks, and also talking of a woman who is just there trying to
you have a good
manifesto. Yes.
Good agenda, you're well read.
Yes.
Boom. You have zero bob.
But what are we talking about? Handouts. Kenyans, I don't know if it's only in Kenya or other parts of Africa that still focuses on tokenism. That is an issue that still affects women, from the amount of money you need to get into these spaces, to handouts, to all that. It's a major thing.
You literally need millions to run for an MCA seat, and billions to run for presidential seats. So the math doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Where as a woman, where are you getting this money? The bank even can't loan you such kinds of money.
And you don't have those networks like
Your
people
networks
who are the
are
patronage in the party, like people who are just can hold your hand to that point, because
nah.
it's either you have someone to guide you, the likes of these big people like the party leaders to hold your hand, or you have money. And some in some circumstances, if you don't have money, even political parties don't welcome you. And actually we need to even go independent, because it's something good. Like in 2022, the woman from Meru who ran for governorship with independent,
Yeah, and she won.
and she actually won it. That is something that we can actually also go in that way.
My thinking would be for us women, this is a bit selfish, to have these strategy meetings, that if we are supporting Doreen for MP, we gather women around that constituency and we go door to door to the markets, to wherever women are. Because funny thing is, women in Kenya are the ones with the votes.
Yes. And talking of gathering women, because when I talk about women, I tend also to bring in youth, because they're also young women. We have this problem where you find, like, you want to be an MCA as a woman, but how many women are running for those positions? Because you've just talked about selfishness. Everyone wants to run for that position. They don't want to find a suitable candidate for every woman to support that specific woman in maybe a constituency or a county. Everyone wants to be in that space. So what happens in such circumstances?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to come and strategize well. Because if we don't plan things, then we have everybody running, and now the votes are scattered, and now we are not winning.
Yes.
We need, I don't know what exactly. I can only think or imagine there's something that exists like that. A strategy that we can come up with, the women of this nation, for us to occupy seats. We say, we don't even want all these seats. We want the 2/3 gender to be actually applied, or rather implemented. So if we have, I don't know how many seats are those in parliament. If it's 50 elected, we are making sure that we have 50 elected. And so how are we going to make this? Where are these counties that women are most likely to win, or women are most likely to, be heard and be listened? Then we strategize around that and make sure that we are actually going on the ground. And nowadays, it's actually, this campaign, you'll have to first to win online before you can win on the ground. So we have a better tool, and women actually are the most people doing, or rather people on social media. That's where most women are.
Yes. So up to this point, we've already established the problems. We've looked at
the
as much as
history.
these problems existed even in our history. As much as women were taking leadership roles, women were trying to be in these political spaces, maybe in terms of MPs, parliamentarians, or just having a voice in the political space. We've talked about that. They've pushed us to a certain point where we are even having, and we are grateful for that. Now,
that's why I don't agree with your point, women are our own enemies, because there was a woman who fought then for what we have now. Even us being able to sit down here and talk about women in politics, especially in leadership, there was somebody who laid this foundation before. So
it's a 50-50 situation, because I will still talk about that. But then there are other women who are making us progress. But then we also need to also look at Kenya and the future of women. What are we supposed to do in the future, so that at least when we get to maybe even next year, it's election, we want to have as many women as possible in these seats. So what can we ensure, or what can we do to ensure that women are not actually just in just not taking or participating in these politics, but actually thriving in these leadership spaces? Yes.
Yeah, because there's also a point of you occupying the seats, and what you actually do with these seats.
Yes,
Because
yes.
we've had a really big problem with the current women leaders that are occupying the women rep positions, or even the representatives in parliament. So yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, and
Something
talking
has to be
talking
done.
about that, it is so, sometimes it becomes so personal when you are having conversations with people and someone tells you, yes, you're fighting for women in leadership spaces, you're fighting for women in political spaces, but then what are these women doing? I don't want to mention names, but there are just some women really embarrassing us in these spaces.
Oh God,
Then you are
yes.
like, even people, no, you feel so personal when you are having such a conversation with people. Then you are like, now how am I even going to defend these women?
You can't.
Yet I just want to, for those women to have a voice in these spaces. It is,
And well, they have a voice. It's what they're actually doing. It's I don't know.
yeah. So
Can
as
be a
we,
bit confusing, fighting for something, and whatever you're fighting for, when you get it, you're not actually using to the
I
fullest.
know.
Because even with these feminism marches that we've been having on what is it called, on femicide, yeah,
Yes,
if you find these women, we are resenting this political leadership, women in political leadership. We don't want to see them anywhere, because it's been years, you've been here 4 years, no statements, nothing. You're just doing literally nothing. You will resent them, and that's why there's even a lot of people saying that we should scrap away the women rep position. I've seen that conversation happening.
okay. Yeah, so as we get to the end, I think today we didn't have like
Today it
whatever.
was just an introduction of where we've been, the history, the policies, and a
Yes.
few problems that we've had, or rather we've been having as people, or rather women in leadership.
Mhm.
And then we'll have guests now. Guests who will bring us answers.
Yes. And we hope today's conversation has been really helpful. It has given you a clear picture of what Kenya looks like, or where Kenya stands as in terms of the state of women leadership in Kenya, and also why this discussion matters. Yes. So when we progress, we'll be having different guests, as Grace has said, for them to be able to dive deeper into this, tell us in future, now how are we going to work? How do we need to strategize for us to be able to achieve these policies that have been put in place to ensure women inclusion in these spaces?
And not just in future, now we need answers now. What are they doing now? What are they doing differently now? Because the elections is just in a year's time, so we need to see, we need to hear. And I hope as we progress to have this conversation, it will be impactful, and maybe even inspire some people to go for these positions.
Yes.
Would you buy?
Me? For now, let me, but I think at some point I might. Yeah. But for now, where I am a leader, and I'm trying to impact people's, yes, in different ways. I'm trying to impact people's lives.
Good stuff, yeah.
Yes. So apart from that, I think thank you for joining us. Yes. If you liked our episode, please tell a friend, share it with a friend, subscribe to our podcast. You're gonna be getting,
subscribing is not an option right now. You'll just have to subscribe. Just subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe kindly. We are the only few political conversations in Kenya, or rather political podcast conversations. So you might as well encourage us.
Especially women, please join in and have something in mind, so that when you're going for these positions, no matter, even if it's not political, we need to be in these leadership spaces. And it's also good that women, just to mention as we wind up, women are taking CEOs position. Actually, women CEOs are even higher. There's a higher percentage of these as compared to men. That is statistics. So as you prepare for your leadership journey, join us every day and listen to our conversation from next episode, so that you can get it from the expert's mouth. Yes. Until next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.